Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your game by subscribing to our channel so you never miss our daily content. For exclusive access to our premium betting picks, join our Patreon. Find the link in the comments section below. Stay ahead with High Stakes. Pittsburgh Pirates versus Cincinnati Reds. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati both have nothing to play for the rest of the season, but this is a spot I still like the Reds to get the win. Martinez pitched well in his last start, and he should be able to carry that into this start against a reeling Pirates offense. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, also enters this series struggling, and those offensive woes should continue. The Pirates are also 33-41 on the road this season, and the road woes should continue here. My team pick is Reds moneyline. Even though both teams' pitching staffs have given up plenty of runs as of late, the offenses is a concern, which is why I like the under. As well as the fact that both Keller and Martinez have pitched effectively as of late. Pittsburgh is 74-73-5 in hitting the under this season, while the Reds are 74-72-8, and at home Cincinnati is 38-34-6 in hitting the under. Look for those trends to continue. My total pick is under. Toronto Blue Jays versus Tampa Bay Rays. Not only has Berrios thrown well against the Rays and knows this lineup pretty well, but the Blue Jays' bats have been hot over the first half of September, while the Rays continue to underwhelm both fans and bettors. Toronto sits top 10 in both walks received and strikeouts per game, and their plate discipline should help them drive home key runs here. My team pick is Toronto moneyline. This contest features some of the more inconsistent offenses in all of baseball. The Rays sit bottom 5 in both runs and overall batting average. This comes with a lack of plate discipline that often leaves runners stranded. The bullpen, however, has continued to heave well with hitters in scoring position, and with the Blue Jays' inability to hit yard, we should expect to see both offenses slow out of the gate. My total pick is under 8 runs. Detroit Tigers versus Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles are the overall better team and should be able to dominate in this game at home. With a postseason feel in Baltimore, as this could be a potential series in October, this game is going to mean a lot. When looking at the road/home splits from these starting pitchers, there is a bit of a difference, as Brent Herter is 2-1 with a 3.86 ERA and a 0.93 WHIP in 14.0 innings, 3 games, while Corbin Burnes is 7-5 with a 3.16 ERA and a .268 batting average against in 94.0 innings, 16 starts, inside Camden Yards. Baltimore is 43-35 at home this season, while Detroit is just 37-38 on the road throughout the year. My team pick is Baltimore Orioles to win. Since the All-Star break, these offenses are hitting well and putting runs on the board. The Tigers are averaging 4.21 runs in their 56 games in the second half of the season, while the Orioles are scoring 4.58 runs in their 57 games after the Midsummer Classic. These bullpens are giving up runs to hit this low total as well, with Detroit ranking 5th in the sport with a 3.56 reliever ERA, while Baltimore is 20th in baseball with a 4.14 bullpen ERA. My total pick is over 7.5 runs. Atlanta Braves versus Miami Marlins. Atlanta is fighting for its playoff life in the National League. They are too far away from the Philadelphia Phillies with just 2 weeks remaining, but the final NL wildcard spot is up for grabs. Charlie Morton will pitch the first game of this series against the Marlins. He did not factor into the decision in last Sunday's loss to the Dodgers, allowing 1 run on 3 hits and 2 walks while striking out 6 over 6 innings. Morton now has consecutive quality starts for the first time since July and has a 2.68 ERA over his last 7 starts. He's now down to a 4.01 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, and 161:59 KBB in 155 innings. Trust the Braves and Morton to come through and keep the pressure on the Mets. My team pick is Atlanta Braves minus 1.5 runs. The Marlins will turn to Valente Beloso in the first game of this series with Atlanta. He allowed 3 runs with 4 strikeouts over 5 1/3 innings in a loss to the Nationals last Saturday. The 24-year-old right-hander will take a 3.70 ERA, 1.29 whip, and a 39/19 K/BB ratio across 58 1/3 innings. He has pitched well for the fleeting Marlins, and combined with Morton, I expect both clubs to pitch well on Friday. Look for a low-scoring game in what should be a Braves win. My total pick is under. Philadelphia Phillies versus New York Mets. This is honestly a toss-up, but I'm going to go with the Phillies in this one purely due to the law of averages. The Mets have been on a hot streak and the Phillies have lost their last 3 or 4, but I expect that to change with at least one of these next 2 games. Sanchez has turned it up a notch with his performances as of late, and the Phillies have been at least better than .500 on the road. The Mets lost 2 of 3 to the Phillies last week in Philadelphia despite their recent winning ways, so I expect Philadelphia to get at least one game in this series. Both teams are sending out a great starter with a questionable bullpen, and both teams can produce runs when needed. One mistake will perhaps be enough to decide a victor in this one, and I'm leaning towards the Mets faltering in this one. My team pick is Philadelphia Phillies moneyline. Make the total 5 honestly. These have been arguably the most consistent pitchers for their respective clubs this season, and their performance on the 15th should be enough to tell you this game will reach the under. Both teams played an offensive game yesterday, so I expect more of a pitcher's duel in this one. Christopher Sanchez also threw a quality start against the Mets on May 13th of this year, leading me to believe both he and Peterson will achieve a quality start to limit the number of runs. The bullpens worry me a bit, but this will be treated as a playoff game, as the Phillies can't let the Mets have momentum and even the slightest chance of the division title. Naturally, with playoff games, the game is more intense, and runs come at a premium. Philadelphia has hit the under in the majority of their games played this year, and Sanchez has hit the under in his last 2 starts. David Peterson hasn't hit the over in his last 2 starts as well. My total pick is under 7.5 runs. Minnesota Twins versus Boston Red Sox. Both teams need this game, but there is a bit of a difference here as the Twins are in the playoff picture while the Red Sox are looking to get back into the race. The Minnesota Twins have the more experienced pitcher in this game, as it is difficult to trust in Richard Fitts during his 3rd start of his MLB career. Over the last week, these offenses are on 2 different levels, as Minnesota is scoring 3.86 runs in their last 7 games while Boston is averaging 3 runs in their previous 6 games. My team pick is Twins to win. These bullpens have been struggling throughout the season, as the Twins are 19th in the big leagues with a 4.12 reliever ERA, while the Red Sox are 26th with a 4.54 bullpen ERA so far. Throughout the season, these teams also have been able to hit well with runners in scoring position, as Minnesota is 17th with a .744 team OPS with runners scoring position, while Boston is 13th in the big leagues with a .751 team OPS in those at-bats. My total pick is over 9 runs. Seattle Mariners versus Texas Rangers. The Seattle Mariners are coming off a weird series against the New York Yankees, where the team failed to get much going as they lost 2 games with boneheaded decisions throughout. George Kirby has struggled in his previous 7 starts and is 4-3 with a 5.45 ERA and a 1.32 whip in 38.0 innings. Jacob deGrom is still going to be his usual dominant self, and he is finally healthy after Tommy John surgery, so it will be difficult for Seattle to hit against his stuff. There has been a large difference when diving into the ability of these teams to get hits. The Seattle Mariners are 30th in all of Major League Baseball with just a .222 team batting average this season, while the Texas Rangers are 22nd in the entire league with a .236 team batting average up to this point of the regular season. My team pick is Texas Rangers to win. These teams throughout September have shown the capability to score runs at a strong level. The Seattle Mariners are averaging 4.76 runs in their 17 games thus far, while the Texas Rangers are scoring 4.47 runs throughout their 17 games in the calendar month. Throughout the regular season, these relievers are going to give up some runs in the later innings of this game. The Mariners are ninth in Major League Baseball with a 3.70 bullpen ERA this season, while the Rangers are down at 25th place in the league with a 4.46 reliever ERA. Texas in particular has been brutal on the mound as a team since the All-Star break, as they are 27th in the sport with a 4.99 team ERA in their last 57 games. My total pick is over 7.5 runs. Arizona Diamondbacks versus Milwaukee Brewers. These two met just a few short days ago, and the Brewers took 2 of 3 games on the road. Milwaukee's biggest concern heading into this one is who will they start and how many arms will it take to get through this one. When he faced this lineup on Sunday, Gallen did not fare well against the Brewers, allowing 3 runs, 6 hits, and 2 walks over 5 innings. Milwaukee went with a bullpen day in that game, which they'll almost certainly do here, and they still managed to use fewer pitchers than Arizona in a 10-inning game. The Brewers have been much better at balancing offense with defense, especially down the stretch, and that's what will carry them in this one. My team pick is Milwaukee moneyline. These two played a couple of slugfests last weekend, combining to average 15.7 runs per game. There have been 166 games between the two which have hit the over this season. These are 2 of the top 5 offenses in the game, the D-backs at the top of the heap with 5.47 runs per game and the Brewers 4th with 4.85 a game. In their last 9 games, Arizona's offense put up at least 6 runs in 6 games. The Brewers scored 6 or more runs in 3 of their 5 games before the start of this series. Given Gallen's efforts against this lineup on Sunday and the Brewers likely going bullpen day, look for runs once again. The over is 6-4 in the last 10 games between these two. My total pick is over. Los Angeles Angels versus Houston Astros. The Astros took the opener of this division series, and they have won 6 of 8 games, while the Angels have lost 7 of their last 10 games. Houston swept LA in a recent series where Anderson opposed Verlander. Anderson gave up 4 runs, and he has not only given up 4 runs in each of his last 2 starts against the Astros, but 4 runs in 2 of his last 3 outings overall. He will give up around that total in this game as well. Verlander was struggling, big time, before pitching well in his last start facing the Halos. He will have another good outing, and when these hurlers opposed each other on September 15th, the Astros won 5-3, and Houston will win again by at least 2 runs, so take them and the run line to get better odds. My team pick is Astros run line minus 1.5 runs. When these two teams faced off in a recent series, the Astros swept them in a 3-game set, where in 2 of the 3 games the total went under. That is the pick I am leaning towards in this game, and in that series the total went under when Anderson opposed Verlander. In that game, Anderson gave up 4 runs and Verlander gave up 2, and each will give up around that in this game. Neither team has been great at the dish as of late, and look for that to continue, which is why the under is the pick for Game 2 of this division series. My total pick is under 8 runs.